In today's video, I am going to be showing you 3 meals that I have cooked for dinner in the last week, and they are quick and they are super easy. I would say you could probably make them in 30 minutes or less, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and let me show you what I have cooked this week. Hey my friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Melissa and I do videos that have to do with anything in the home, whether it's cooking, home organization, short little, easy little DIYs, shopping hauls, home decor, anything related to the home. That's what I want to bring to my channel. So if that is something that you are interested in, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. And don't forget to click the bell button because it does let you know every time I upload a new video. Now, today I'm gonna show you 3 recipes or 3 meal ideas. And look, these are meals that are tried and true in our home. I make them quite regularly and everyone loves them. So I want to go ahead and get started and show you these quick and easy meal ideas. Tonight for dinner, we are having hamburger noodle casserole. Now, this is similar to lasagna, but it's much easier and much quicker than lasagna. So for this, you need ground beef. I have 2 jars of Prego, and you can use any Prego, whichever one is your favorite. I have a, 16-ounce container of sour cream, 16-ounce container of small curd cottage cheese. I have 2 bags of Colby Jack because 1 is probably not enough. And then I have extra wide egg noodles to go along with it. And as a side, we're having garlic bread, and we're also having this maple bourbon bacon chopped salad. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the ground beef into the pan to start cooking, and I'm gonna get the noodles into this pot so that they can start cooking as well. I have the salt in the water, and while I'm waiting for it to boil, I'm gonna go ahead and start browning my ground beef. All right, my water is boiling. It's starting to boil, and the noodles say to cook, says it cooks in 9 minutes, but I'm not gonna cook it the whole 9 minutes just because I don't want, once you put it in the casserole dish and you let it bake, I don't want my noodles to get mushy. So I'll probably just cook them about 7 minutes. And while that is cooking, my ground beef is ready. So I'm gonna add the spaghetti sauce. And I had some left over from another thing that I cooked, but it's not a whole jar. So I'm gonna use that first. Just add this in here. Then this open. I'm gonna add probably not the whole jar, maybe 3/4 of the jar, and I will stir that, mix it real good. And while my noodles are cooking, I will let this simmer, and by the time the noodles are finished, it will be ready, the meat will be ready, and it'll be ready to be assembled. Well, I have to add the sour cream and the cottage cheese to the noodles after they're drained, but then it'll be ready to assemble. All right, so the noodles are finished, as well as the sauce, the meat with the spaghetti sauce. So now I'm going to add the sour cream and the cottage cheese to the noodles. And then once that is added, you'll just mix it up real good. And if you want to, you can add, which I probably will, you can add a little bit of pepper. Just however much you like. We like it peppery, so anyway, add that and you just mix it up real good. All right, I have sprayed my pan, and just because it makes cleanup easier. So the first thing you do to assemble this is put maybe a third of the sauce in the bottom of the pan. Then once that's in there, you are going to put half of the noodles spread that out. Right. Then you are going to put some cheese, sprinkle some cheese on top of the noodles. Then you're just going to do it all again. And then your final layer will be the sauce with some more cheese on top. This is the final layer of cheese, so you put as much or as little as you want. And you can really use any kind of cheese, whatever your favorite kind is. I happen to like Colby Jack, so that's what I use. And I have my oven. I'm going to use a little bit of the other bag of cheese, but I have my oven set to 400 and it is ready for this to go in. You don't have to cover it. Just stick it in there and you let it cook until the cheese is melted and kind of starting to bubble on top. All right, dinner is ready, and I have the finished hamburger noodle casserole. I also have the garlic bread and the salad ready on the plate. So it's time to dig in. And there you have hamburger noodle casserole. Again, this is very similar to lasagna, but much easier and tastes just as good. In fact, I think I might like it better. So, this is what's for dinner. It's a cold evening, so tonight for dinner we are having taco soup. And I'm going to start cooking this ground beef. And it looks like hamburger patties because my store was out of the packages of ground meat. So I bought the hamburger patties, and it's like 1 pound 3 ounces of ground beef. And then once I cook that, I will add this stuff. So you can need a pack of taco seasoning, a pack of ranch dressing seasoning, 8-ounce Velveeta pack. You need, I put chili beans. They only had dark red chili beans. I usually use light red. Pinto beans, black beans, kernel corn, and some beef broth. And that is what goes in with the ground beef to make taco soup. So here we go. All right, I have the ground beef cooked and drained. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add, I forgot to mention that it does call for a small can of Rotel, or what is this, 10-ounce can. So I add Rotel, mix it up. And then once I have it mixed up, I go ahead and add the taco seasoning. I'll drop it. And the packet of ranch. I'll mix that up real good. Alright, I have it well blended, and I've let it cook for a couple minutes. And now I'm going to add the beans and the corn. I have all the beans and the corn in here. Now I'm just going to stir it up, and I'm going to let it simmer for a few minutes before I add anything else. Okay, this has been simmering for about 10 or 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of the beef broth. And like I said, this is just up to you how juicy you want it or how thick you want it. So mix that up, and I'll probably add a little more in the end, but at this point I'm going to go ahead and add in the cubes of Velveeta. And you add in the whole 8 ounces, and then after you have added all the cheese, you just stir it. And you want to stir it every few minutes just to make sure that it's getting, you know, melted and mixed in well. And then once the cheese is melted, you can add a little bit more juice if you want, but once the cheese is melted, then let it cook for, I don't know, 5 or so more minutes, and it will be ready to serve. Well, it has finished melting. The cheese has finished melting, and it is ready to be served. I have my bowl here, and I already have, excuse my nails, I have to get them done tomorrow, but I have some Fritos in here that have already been crunched up. So let's go ahead and get this in here. This is so good. And I like to top mine with some Tabasco, because I love Tabasco. And I kind of put it in most of the soups that I eat. And then you can just, if I can get this spoon here, put some sour cream on it, mix it up, and it is ready to eat. It is so yummy. So taco soup, that's what's for dinner. Tonight for dinner, we are having chicken and sausage jambalaya. And so I have my pot here, and I'm going to put some avocado oil in the bottom. sausage that I cut up and the onion and bell pepper that I also cut up. You will see me cutting all that stuff up. So once this oil gets a little warm, I'll start adding all that stuff in. Now, this is chicken and sausage jambalaya, and with the jambalaya, I will be serving these Blue Runner white beans. We really like these with the jambalaya, and this is the New Orleans style. So I have those cooking, and then we're also going to have some garlic bread. So now I will go ahead and start cooking the sausage and the onion. I used 1 whole onion and 1 whole bell pepper, and they are chopped up. Excuse me, that is my oven telling me that it's ready for the garlic bread. And I will cook the sausage until it starts browning a little bit. It doesn't have to be all the way cooked, because obviously it's going to be cooking in the jambalaya. But I do like to kind of get it brown a little bit, get some of that sausage grease in here, so that when I do cook so when it all kind of combines, you can taste that sausage as well, that sausage goodness. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and brown this stuff up. I've added the onion and bell pepper, and you can actually buy in the freezer section something. It's like a vegetable blend, and it's onion, bell pepper, and celery. So I usually do that, but today when I was shopping, I was at Sam's and they didn't have it, so I just went ahead and bought some onion and bell pepper. The celery to me is inconsequential, so, you know, I just didn't even worry about it. So I'm going to let this go ahead and cook until the vegetables are translucent and tender. I think the vegetables are pretty done. Of course, they'll finish cooking when the rice is cooking, but it took about 7 minutes, I guess, for it to cook. Now obviously if you use the seasoning blend, which is what I was trying to tell you earlier about the frozen vegetables, it's called seasoning blend, it's obviously not going to take as long. But now that they are done, I'm going to go ahead and add about 3 cups of rotisserie chicken that I've let this cook a little bit. Now I'm going to be using minute rice because it's just quicker and it's easier. So I'm going to use minute rice. So I'm using 2.5 cups of rice. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the 2.5 cups of water. And then once the water gets a little warm, I'm going to add some better than bouillon, probably only about a tablespoon, because I have found that it's rather salty. I think it's saltier than beef broth, but I like using beef broth even though it's chicken and sausage. I just like the flavor of the beef broth. But anyway, once this water gets warm, I'm going to add the better than bouillon, and then I will be back to tell you what seasonings. Okay, so here is my beef bouillon. I'm going to mix that up a little bit. I'm also going to be using what is called kitchen bouquet. There it is right there. And it is a browning and seasoning sauce. And I add it to the water before I put the rice in. And you're probably gonna add about a teaspoon. See how it darkens the water? I like for my jambalaya rice to be a little brown. And the browning and seasoning sauce does just the trick. All right, so I've got that in. Now the spices that you will use, I have a tablespoon of garlic powder, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, a quarter teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of oregano and thyme, a teaspoon of Cajun seasoning, and a teaspoon of onion powder. And then obviously you can, adjust this to your liking, but I probably will add a little more garlic just because we like it really garlicky. And then the Cajun seasoning, someone actually gave me the seasoning I used, so I don't know the name of it, but normally I use Tony Chachere's, and it is pretty spicy, so if you don't like anything spicy, you can leave that out if you want. Okay, and then once this starts boiling, I will add the rice, mix it up, turn the heat off, and then cover it until the rice is done. Okay, it's picking up quite a little boil, starting to see some bubbles in the middle. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my 2.5 cups of rice. And I do have a little bit of brown rice in there just because it was left in my jar. So that's what the little dark ones are. But anyway, go ahead and stir this up. And you are going to cook it. It will probably take about 15 minutes or so. And if you open it after the 15 minutes and you see that the rice isn't quite cooked, you can always add a little more water and let it sit there for a little bit longer, and it will soak it all up, and you will have some delicious chicken and sausage jambalaya. All right, got that on there, and now I will cover it. I will turn off the heat, and I will let it cook. Okay, I think it is done. Stir it. This is chicken and sausage jambalaya. Everything's mixed up nicely. And let's see. Serving spoon, and I have the garlic bread, the white beans, and then we're just gonna top it off with some delicious chicken and sausage jambalaya. And that's what's for dinner. All right, you guys, that is it. I hope that there is at least one meal in here that you are going to try. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever made any of these, and if there's anything that I showed you today that you think you might try in your home. Again, thank you so much for coming by, and if you're new, thank you so much for stopping by and sharing a little time with me in my home. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Click that thumbs up button because it does help me out with YouTube, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.